everyone, welcome back to my channel. Have you ever felt it? That strange tension between you and her. The way she looks at you like you matter, and then suddenly acts distant the next moment. One day she's warm, almost magnetic toward you, and the next day she seems unsure, guarded, even cold. And it leaves you wondering, what changed? Before we go deeper, take a second to subscribe and like this video, because the things we talk about here are the kind of psychological truths most people never hear explained clearly. Now listen carefully. Many men believe that when a woman pulls back, it means she's losing interest. That's the easy explanation, the obvious one. But psychology is rarely that simple. Sometimes the opposite is happening. Sometimes she pulls away because the emotions are becoming too real. You see, attraction in the early stages feels exciting, playful, and light. There's curiosity, there's mystery. But when that attraction begins to turn into something deeper, something that feels like it could actually matter, something shifts inside her mind. And that shift creates tension. Part of her begins to feel closer to you, but another part begins to ask questions. What if this goes wrong? What if I get hurt? What if he changes? What if I lose control of my emotions? These questions don't always appear on the surface. Often they operate quietly, beneath her awareness, influencing how she behaves around you. That's why she might text you all night and then disappear the next day. That's why she might laugh with you, open up, share parts of herself, and then suddenly become more distant the next time you meet. It doesn't mean she's playing games. More often it means she's confused by the intensity of what she's starting to feel. Because real emotional attachment brings vulnerability. And vulnerability can be frightening, especially for someone who has learned to protect their heart. So instead of moving closer, she hesitates. Instead of admitting what she feels, she becomes quiet. And the man standing in front of her is left trying to decode a message she hasn't even fully admitted to herself yet. But if you pay attention, the signs are there. Subtle, contradictory, emotional. And once you understand them, her behavior will start to make far more sense than it ever did before. Because when a woman is deeply confused about her feelings, it rarely looks like love on the surface. Sometimes it looks like distance. And that is where most men misunderstand everything. But the truth behind that confusion goes much deeper than you think. When a woman becomes emotionally confused about you, the first thing that changes is not her feelings, it's her behavior. And this is where most men start making the wrong assumptions. You see, when a woman feels something powerful for a man but isn't ready to admit it, even to herself, her mind begins creating distance as a form of emotional protection. It's almost like an internal alarm system quietly telling her, slow down, this might become real. That's why one of the clearest signs of hidden feelings is inconsistency. One moment she's deeply engaged with you, she laughs easily, she asks personal questions, her attention feels genuine and focused. You can sense that she's present with you in a way that feels rare. But then something shifts. Suddenly her replies become shorter, she seems more reserved. Maybe she takes longer to respond, or she appears slightly guarded when you talk. To a man watching from the outside, this feels confusing, even frustrating. But from a psychological perspective, this push and pull often reveals something important. Her emotions are beginning to matter more than she expected. When someone is indifferent, they don't experience this internal struggle. Indifference is simple, it's calm, it's predictable. Confusion, however, creates contradiction. Part of her enjoys being close to you. Your presence feels safe, stimulating, maybe even exciting. But another part of her is trying to slow things down because deeper feelings come with risk. So her behavior becomes a balance between two competing instincts. Move closer, pull back, open up, protect yourself. This is why you may notice that she sometimes shares something personal with you, something about her life, her past, or her thoughts, and then later seems almost embarrassed that she revealed so much. In her mind, she crossed an emotional line without realizing it, and that vulnerability can make her step back for a moment. It's not rejection, it's hesitation. Think of it like standing at the edge of deep water. Part of you wants to jump in, but another part pauses, measuring the depth before taking that step. That pause, That moment of emotional calculation is where her confusion lives. And the man who understands this dynamic doesn't react with frustration or pressure. He stays calm. Because he recognizes something most people overlook. Emotional confusion doesn't appear when feelings are weak. It appears when feelings are strong enough to change the stakes. Here's the truth most men never fully grasp. When a woman is confused, it's not because she's uncertain about you. It's because she's uncertain about how much she's letting herself feel. And that fear runs deep. It isn't just about the possibility of heartbreak. It's about losing control over her own emotions. She might catch herself thinking about you at odd times, replaying conversations in her head, imagining moments together that haven't even happened yet. And suddenly, she realizes, I'm letting him matter more than I should. That realization triggers a paradox. On one hand, she wants to move closer, to let the connection deepen. On the other, she's terrified of what it could mean if she admits how much she cares. It's not intentional manipulation. This push and pull is the byproduct of her mind trying to protect her heart. Notice the patterns. She texts first sometimes, and at other times she leaves you waiting. She flirts but hesitates. She initiates plans, then cancels last minute. To the untrained eye, it might feel like mixed signals, even game-playing, but it's actually the unmistakable language of someone struggling with strong, unspoken feelings. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Deep down, she's testing your stability. Her subconscious is asking, if I let him in completely, will he stay? Will he handle me when I'm unpredictable, emotional, or scared? She isn't playing a game, she's protecting herself, while simultaneously seeking reassurance that you are different from anyone else she's trusted. That's why you may see her opening up about her life in ways she rarely does with others, sharing memories, insecurities, hopes, but then moments later retreating emotionally as if she's trying to reset herself. It's a balancing act, and you're the focal point of it. The men who fail here are the ones who react with irritation or try to force clarity. They ask, why can't she just make up her mind? But understanding her mind reveals the truth. She has made up her mind, in part, but she's battling an inner fear that prevents full expression. The key is patience and perceptiveness. Observe without pressure, listen without judgment. Recognize the subtle clues in her energy, her tone, the micro-expressions that betray what she's not saying out loud. Because when a woman is deeply confused yet secretly invested, everything she does is a signal, even the silences. If you ignore these signals, you miss the depth of her feelings. But if you understand them, you gain insight into a bond far stronger than surface-level attraction. A bond that can transform into something rare, profound, and lasting. Now let me reveal something that most men completely miss. The most powerful sign she's confused, and secretly in love, is how she behaves when she's away from you. You might think that attraction is only about what happens when you're together, but her mind doesn't stop working when you leave the room. She replays your conversations, wonders if she said the right thing, imagines your reactions. And in those moments, the confusion intensifies, because her heart is slowly pulling her closer while her mind tells her to retreat. This is why you might notice subtle but revealing signs. She sends random messages just to check in, sometimes even when nothing urgent needs to be said. She laughs at your jokes more in texts than in person, or she responds to things you post online with care that feels intentional, almost calculated, but it isn't manipulation. It's her way of staying connected while she sorts through her own emotions. And here's the psychological twist. The more she fears losing herself emotionally, the more her subconscious tries to keep you close without admitting it. That means small gestures, little touches, lingering glances, playful teasing, are ways she communicates affection she's too afraid to speak aloud. These gestures aren't always consistent. They can appear fleeting, confusing, even frustrating, but each one is a breadcrumb of her hidden feelings. Many men panic at this stage. They interpret her hesitation as disinterest and start pulling back themselves, creating distance. But the truth is, if you respond with calm confidence, patience, and emotional stability, you become the anchor she's looking for. You show her that it's safe to let go of the fear, to embrace the emotions she's been hiding, even from herself. Her confusion is strongest when she senses that you could walk away, that the connection isn't guaranteed. It's the tension between desire and fear, between vulnerability and self-protection, that creates her push-pull behavior. The men who succeed are those who don't rush her, who don't react with anger or frustration, but who instead understand that love often hides behind uncertainty, behind hesitation, and behind tiny, seemingly contradictory actions. So pay attention. The quiet moments, the delayed texts, the playful teasing that disappears just as quickly, these are her heart's signals. She's afraid, yes, but she's drawn to you in ways she can't fully control. And the more you understand this, the more you can navigate her inner conflict, turning her confusion into clarity, turning hesitation into emotional closeness, turning hidden love into something unmistakable. This is where most men fail, but also where the men who truly understand women find the deepest connection. Here's a truth that most men never realize. When a woman is confused but secretly in love, her actions often contradict her words, and it's precisely in those contradictions that her feelings are revealed. For example, she might insist she's fine or not thinking about you that way, yet notice how her eyes light up when you enter the room. She may seem detached in conversation, yet she remembers the smallest details about you, your favorite song, a story you told weeks ago, or the way you laugh at something silly. These details are not accidental. They're evidence of her mind constantly returning to you, even when she's telling herself she shouldn't. And here's the psychological reality behind it. The part of her that fears vulnerability is louder than the part that wants connection. So her words often try to protect her ego, while her behavior betrays her heart. She's testing the waters, seeking reassurance that her emotions are safe and that you won't withdraw if she lets herself feel fully. This is why you might see her do things that confuse you deeply. She may flirt in subtle ways, yet pull away when the conversation gets too personal. She may initiate plans, then cancel last minute. She may open up emotionally, then retreat, leaving you guessing. Each contradiction is a signal, a glimpse into the internal struggle between fear and desire. The men who misread this pull back in frustration, assuming disinterest. But the men who understand her psychology recognize it as a sign of profound emotional investment. Confusion in women is rarely about a lack of feeling. It's about how much feeling they dare to admit. If you pay close attention, you'll notice patterns. The moments she seeks your approval, the fleeting touches, the inside jokes she shares with you but no one else. These are all signs that her emotions are real and growing, even if her mind is trying to deny them. What separates men who succeed from those who fail is how they respond. You don't pressure, you don't overanalyze. You observe, you appreciate, and you respond with calm certainty. You become the stable presence that allows her to reconcile her fear with her desire. Because the truth is this: a woman confused by her emotions is often closer to love than most men realize. And once you learn to read her contradictions, to see the signals behind the hesitations, you gain access to a connection that is rare, deep, and transformative. She's confused, yes, but that confusion is a mask for something far more powerful. A love she's afraid to admit. Now, here's the part that most men completely overlook. Confusion isn't a weakness in her, it's a reflection of how much she cares. The intensity of her emotions overwhelms her mind, and instead of embracing them openly, she retreats into hesitation. That retreat is not rejection, it's protection. It's her heart whispering, "I'm scared of how much this matters." And that's where the true opportunity lies for the man who understands female psychology. Because when a woman is afraid to admit her love, she's also silently testing whether you can handle the depth of what she feels. She wants to know if you'll remain patient, steady, and compassionate, even when her actions seem contradictory or confusing. If you react with judgment, frustration, or impatience, she will instinctively pull back further. But if you respond with calm confidence, you become her safe harbor. Watch her closely. Notice the little things, the way she texts you late at night, even if she says nothing important. How she remembers tiny details about your conversations. The subtle changes in her tone when she talks about her life. These are breadcrumbs leading straight to the truth. Her heart is engaged far more than she lets on. And here's the final psychological insight. A woman's confusion is temporary if handled correctly. It dissipates when she realizes that her vulnerability won't push you away. When she sees that you value her emotions, respect her hesitations, and meet her with unwavering presence, she begins to reconcile her fear with her desire. That's when the walls come down, when the contradictions fade, and when her love becomes undeniable. So the key is not to chase clarity aggressively. It's to create an environment where clarity emerges naturally. Be consistent, be patient, be attentive. Let your actions communicate stability and trust more than words ever could. Because the moment she feels safe enough to admit the truth, she will, sometimes in ways that leave you breathless, sometimes in ways so subtle you'll need to have learned to notice the signals all along. Remember this: her confusion is not a reflection of uncertainty about you. It's a reflection of how deeply she's feeling. And the man who understands this can navigate her mixed signals, honor her hesitations, and ultimately witness a love that is far stronger than surface-level attraction. She's not lost. She's conflicted. She's afraid. And yet, she's already in love, more than she's willing to admit. The question is, are you ready to see it, understand it, and guide her gently into embracing it fully? Because that is the power of understanding female psychology, a power most men never realize exists.